What's up? How's it going, everybody? We're having just a small technical difficulty with the cameras while we're trying to make sure that the stream overlay is ready for round one. We're going to be getting started in about 5 minutes here. So, Zach, if you want to talk about the day's proceedings, we're going to have 5 rounds of Swiss, and then we're going to cut to a top eight while I try to get this all sorted out and we get searching for a round one. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. So we're gonna have an exciting day. Like Sam just said, we're gonna have 5 rounds of Swiss, cut to top eight. We've got, I think it's 55 players registered today. So it's gonna be a jam-packed day. We've got a lot of exciting action happening. Seen a lot of exciting decks. We've got some surprises coming in. Um, some Godzillas, obviously. Some death symbol decks you could expect to see. Excited to see what the community has brought in this couple of weeks before nationals. It's kind of your last chance to see what the community is thinking right before we get started in the national season. I know I'm looking forward to you all doing my testing for me. I've been a little lax in my testing prep, and so this is a good opportunity for you to do all that for me. So thanks. And thanks to Sam for hosting this event. It's going to be a lot of fun. While Sam is getting all that ready, chat, pop off with what you are excited to see today. If there's any decks you want to see in round one, if there's anything you're wanting to see, let us know and we'll see if we can find it. What we'll find someone's favorite, our favorite deck. And we've got a couple of sponsors today. We've got Viva Los Foils and Undefeated at Locals. They have donated. Sam, do you remember the prizing that has been donated? I know you're working on the stream setup, but we've got all kind
Yes.
of stuff, right?
Yeah, we've got 3 boxes donated from Undefeated at Locals and a whole case from Viva Las Foils. So thank you very much to those two sponsors. Without them, this prizing would not be so juiced. Without them, we would not have a box to give away during a random round today as well. So if you're in chat later, you're going to get one entry into the giveaway. And of course, if you signed up for the event, regardless of whether or not you played, you got 5 entries into the giveaway.
Hell yeah, that's going to be awesome. Can people still enter that?
They cannot enter. They cannot enter the event. No, but you can enter the giveaway just by being in chat later when we do the giveaway. So you have to be in chat at
Okay.
the time of the giveaway. I'm gonna say type 1 or something in chat, and that'll be how you enter.
So chat, make sure you stick around for the whole time. We're gonna have a good day. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to watch some universes action. It's been a little bit since we've had a you know tournament of this size. The last community event was the 16-man David Toombs Invitational. So we've got triple that, quadruple that here today.
I'm sorry. I'm so close to getting this fixed. It's like the every control is not working right, and I've almost got this sorted. And then I'm sure as soon as we get into the gameplay, I'm gonna have to redo everything, and it's gonna be all undone. But we're almost there, guys. As long as the players in the tournament is good, the stream is secondary, right?
Totally.
Like the stream
If
is
the
not as
tournament starts
important.
running, once the tournament starts running, we can talk about games. Then we don't even have to worry about whether we're on the screen or not. We're
Correct.
we're not even important, right?
I got you on screen though. You're good to go.
Oh yay!
And
Everyone actually came to see me, right? No one
yeah,
came to see Sam.
correct. That's basically how that works. let's uh let's get the tournament started, and then we'll get a table up. We'll get the webcam overlay going, and everyone will get a good idea of what's actually happening today. Because right now I got one camera
Now,
solved.
chat. What? Like I said, what are you wanting to see round one? Any requests? Oh, the giant headshot. Yeah.
Oh, you do got that giant card. That is really cool. Oh, do you want to troll Jacob for round one?
I want to troll David Toombs for round one mostly because
Round one, David Toombs.
He's
Okay.
giving away solo level challenger decks for every person who beats him, and I think his deck is comedy.
Is he streaming his match? Do you know if he's also streaming? I do like to avoid the streamers for more
Oh,
coverage.
that's fair. He is streaming his
Yeah.
games.
So we'll probably
So
like
we
if he's in
can
Top Cuts or something, we'll come back around to him.
okay. Who's paired up in round one? You got anything fun going on? Ryan Kogod and Marvin Emery are playing.
Whatever it is, we should pick it quick. But I'll let you
Okay.
pick the game.
Tam is streaming. Let's hit Jacob. Let's see what
Okay,
he's got.
table 3.
Table
Let's
3.
do it.
Yeah.
What up?
Hey, what's up? You're gonna be on stream for round 1.
Oh God,
Yep.
no pressure whatsoever.
No pressure whatsoever.
Like
We're gonna
this
be
is Zach's fault. This is revenge.
We're gonna be muted and deafened. We are not part of the game. We cannot interfere. We cannot talk to the judges. We don't exist.
That's fair. I don't exist either.
All right. Have a good one. Good luck to both of you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. So I'm gonna get this window set up real quick here. I gotta hide all the non-video participants. Ooh. Let's see.
I know what Jacob is playing because I've played a lot of this.
True. I also felt like this would be a great way for you to have some insight on the early rounds here. So, why don't you talk about Jacob's deck, and don't spill all the beans or nothing, but give us a breakdown while I get the stats put up here on the page.
Yeah. So Jacob is going to be playing Godzilla, King of Monsters, the one of the big boogeyman pillars, staples of the format. He's going to be taking the Bill Evans style deck, the 6s and 4s approach with City Rampage. He has made some tweaks to the Bill Evans deck that Bill's been playing in the David Toombs events without giving, obviously, everything away. It's just a lot of big Titan attacks. He's looking to play knockdown blow into shift attacks and actually murder you from out of nowhere a lot of the time. This deck is throwing 30 damage a turn a lot of the time. It's passing its checks. It's a huge bulk of 6 checks. It can build wide. Does a really good job of putting pressure on the opponent. It can get a lot of key blocks off because it checks really well. And it looks like on the other side, we've got Nicholas D. Wolfwood, which is a deck I have not seen a lot of recently. It's pretty exciting. Was a big fan of this deck a couple of formats ago. Excited to see what symbol he's on. Whether this is going to be death, all, fire, whatever we've got here. A lot of this stuff got support for AOT. Weapons and ranged have a lot of support there. So excited to see what kind of brew we're on.
Yeah, the
possibly a
Wolfwood deck looked really nice when I first saw it. I saw the character card, and I thought, well, this is going to be an insane character, right? With Twisting Azure, Inferno, and the format, just the solid, consistent damage pump. I figured, at worst, this character was going to be like a Dobby 1 sort of replacement, right? Where we saw Dobby play like double jab pummels and twistings and, just activating like the best keyword available at the time and maximizing profit off of free, essentially, damage pump And I also thought that there'd be like additional mill support to make self mill way, way better than it is right now. Because the last time we introduced self mill into universes, it got out of hand pretty quick.
It's starting to get there now, right? With all of the, what do we call them, bing bong effects in the southeast. You know, I'm with you, and all of these +2, -2, respond, remove it, trigger firepower, do the thing.
Yeah, I like to call them Yahtzee effects primarily. But Bing
Okay.
Bongs are good. Bing Bong is so Bing Bong for me, growing up with universes was specifically one Super Skullman 33 card, and I think it was called Heroes Training, and it was when you check it, you got +3 damage. It didn't remove or anything, by the way, so you could like keep putting it on top and abusing it with like that character's support, you know.
Oh,
Um,
that's rude.
yeah, like it was just like meant to be utilized multiple ways for multiple zones to the top of the deck. And so for me, Bing Bong like registers specifically Heroes Training, but it is very much a Bing Bong effect.
Yeah. Okay, we're leading off with a invincible body here, which could be a pretty good card into Godzilla, especially given that a lot of these Godzilla decks don't pump stats after the static. We kind of just play our move. It's huge, and then we say pass.
Yeah, one of
That could
the
buy us one big attack.
one of the things my build was definitely missing was better speed pump, better speed control. I was really relying on the fact that early game aggression, high difficulty cards have good base stats, and then late game I've got some EX threats, but splitting my momentum between passing checks and pumping speed wasn't necessarily a recipe for success.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the big strengths of the Godzilla decks recently has been Determined Advance is just such a powerful card that beats all of these damage and speed resets that people have a hard time answering it. But from the Wolfwood side, we've got Battlelore release coming down. And this is kind of a format staple for the last year. Just a powerful range card. It's going to come in as a 4/7. It draws us a card, replaces itself. This has been here forever. Um, we've got it up to 4/8 now.
Yeah, Battle or Release just being a 4 difficulty that presents 8 damage is solid, but then you add the fact that it has a low cost draw effect, and all of a sudden it's an ultra rare.
Yeah, it's been it's been everywhere, right? And now we're following it up with a Provisional Pursuit. This is another 4-diff cantrip on the death symbol. We love these, right? It looks like this Wolfwood deck may just be all 4-diff draw cards.
That has been the blueprint for 6-hand size aggro, right? 4 diff cantrips, maybe a 5 diff cantrip that stuns to open things up. When you're adding +3 damage to everything, like Godzilla, like Wolfwood does, it's typically just how many attacks can we put out. So we do have a 3 high for 9, so not the most difficult thing to block. But Jacob's been holding on to them cards.
I think it's going to be for 10. I think Jacob has the stats wrong on his end.
Fair enough.
And now we're putting a firepower on this. If Jacob doesn't have a high block, he's going to eat a lot of damage here. And we milled another avoided the conflict. This thing is going to be gigantic.
Yeah, that combined firepower coming out to sort of force the issue, saying, you know, if you don't want to block, that must mean your hand is pretty good. So I don't mind piling on the damage to what is otherwise a 3-speed move. You know, again, a very blockable move. But our rival has been willing to take 2 moves already. So we'll see how this one goes.
When Jacob used -3 damage on the 8 damage battle lore release as the opener. So I'm betting Rudy thinks he doesn't have a high block, and Jacob eats it. Oh, and we're going for the tri-grav. We're getting
already
aggressive early here.
Yeah, already down to 16 health, and the tri-gravity beam is almost certainly going to force out a partial block, you'd have to assume. I mean, there's a chance that Jacob has 2 mid blocks, but we've got a pretty good shot here at forcing even more damage through, and this is where you want to be against these 30 plus health characters. Turn 2, put them below half, put them below 15 health, and you've got a much better blueprint for victory.
If I know Jacob, when we see this hand, it's going to be a City Rampage and 2 attacks.
If you're right, that would be super funny. And if he doesn't if he doesn't get to keep the City Rampage and he has no mid block, that's even funnier.
We're going to make this lethal. We're going to try to anyway.
There's another combined.
And we're going to be able to trigger it, so we hit that unabashed manner. I don't think we're going to get the use of the unabashed manner, but because I don't think we're playing another move with only one foundation ready. But let's see the hand, Jacob. What do we got?
No shot.
I'm a genius.
No shot. City Rampage and the 2 best attacks. You know, I'd be gripping them too, Jacob. I'd be gripping them too. That's crazy. Not only was it City Rampage 2 attacks, it was potentially the 2 best attacks in Godzilla, and they were all mid blocks. So we're not going to die here unless something super crazy happens. But it looks like we're going to continue to mill, kind of spin our wheels here just for emphasis. I mean, those combines are just going to be sitting in the discard pile again soon.
Well, he checked a 3 on this combine, thought about committing Wolfwood for it, and just opted to fail. I would not be surprised if this doesn't get to 16. I would not be surprised if Jacob takes this. Okay, he's going to block it. He's playing a little safe.
Yeah, I gotta feel like at this point, if it's not lethal, I've already given up so much. I'm holding the determined advances. I mean, 28 is not impossible to do, and Invincible Body doesn't do anything against my determined advances.
Yeah, I
Speaking of Invincible Body doing nothing.
Going to 4 against a deck like this is a risky proposition, but I think I agree. And I've seen Jacob play these decks. I fully expected him to just go to 4 on that move.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a little surprised. I feel like going to 4 at that point is the correct move. But I could be wrong, especially if we're playing, like you said, like the 6 checks and the 4 checks version. I mean, the math on passing the determined advances is that much better, right?
He almost missed it. He almost forgot the league interview. How often do you forget your league interview first form, Sam?
You know, not so much in Godzilla. Not that I've played it a whole lot in Godzilla, but I do remember it in that character and in Smiling Titan. But I have forgotten it in every other deck very often.
That card is cursed. I don't know I can't do it. That card is just there to get committed when I check a 5 on my 6 diff. Because I just can't mill 2. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's so tough to remember first forms, like truly. I think that's why, probably one of the reasons why you didn't see like any form abilities in set 1 MHA.
That's fair. Yeah. So Jacob just gets in with the 1 determined advance, takes his 1 momentum, builds out a few foundations, and ships it back over to Wolfwood. It's got a couple momentum here. We're Are we going to see him go up to an 8-hand size character this turn? We are.
Absolutely,
Cool.
we have to, right?
It was like 6 months later that someone pointed out to me that this character had the extra line of text that this ability gains you 2 health also.
Oh no, that's the first thing I saw. I saw game 2, draw 2, and I was like, man, they will do anything but reprint Templar. Big Blue 1986. The top person is playing Godzilla, King of. Blair is pretty bad on exactly like that top part of their map. Ooh, now we have a big tray size. So we spent the momentum to draw some extra cards. Tray size is really cool because it's an echo attack where you can destroy a ready foundation instead of using a momentum.
I think there's nearly no shot we do that, right? We have a momentum. We're going to say the enhance just to have the option.
Right, you got to at least bluff
there's no
it.
chance we do this.
I would say it's incredibly unlikely. I mean, looks like we're not going to echo it at all.
At all. We have a try. There's no way we don't have the other tri-gravity beam, right? If we didn't echo this, that means we need the third attack in the card pool.
Well, so tri-gravity beam would have been the third. So, like, if we echoed it, we still would have had to play this 4-diff instead of tri-gravity?
Well, no, tri-gravity needs 3 attacks, right? So if you echo the tray size, it'd be face down.
No, it needs 2 other attacks.
Yeah, so if the tray size was echoed, and then you play this move, and then the tri-grav, you wouldn't have 2 other attacks.
Oh, I see. I'm counting. The Wolfwood looked like an attack to me. Sorry, I'm still trying to fix the interview screen. TOing and commentary surprisingly difficult.
I imagine, yeah. Multitasking is not a thing the human brain does well.
Yeah.
According to my ex-boss.
They should meet my ADD. Luckily, we've got wonderful judges who have been helping out. We got quite a few no-shows in this first round, so our judges have been a little busy popping in and out. We got a lot of people who did sign up just to support the tournament, so I want to thank them very much. Got a few people who signed up for extra chances at the Critical Role giveaway. So very, very cool stuff. I just wish that they had told me to unregister them before round 1.
That's sweet of them to donate to the prize pool. I have done that to like one of the David Toombs events. But I clicked the unregister button before the event.
Right. Yeah, we had a few people, they did unregister themselves. We had a couple people had last minute cancellations, and I want to accommodate people as much as I can. I know what it's like to have some bad luck, and I know how bad it can like it just sucks. It's not a lot of money, right? The $15, but if I can, I'm gonna do what I can to help people out. And the biggest thing, and especially with the way the pricing is pretty even across top 8, I would say, is I want as many people to walk away feeling good about this event as possible, because I feel like that's going to cause the greatest returns. I don't want like a top heavy tournament where people are sweating it out to get the one and only prize that matters. I want as many people as possible to have had a good time. Felt like their $15 was well spent.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of spent, we've got a 15 damage lizard tail splitter.
Yeah, Rudy made this thing gigantic. That was the biggest combined firepower I've ever seen. It mailed an attack, an avoiding the conflict, and an I'm with you. So it got 6 damage? 5 damage? Something like that?
It got 6 because avoiding counts for 3.
Yeah. Okay, so I was right. We did have the trigraph beam here. We've not checked well. So this is the last attack of the turn. If this doesn't get to 10, and Jacob has a block,
is
not going to do it. We've got another city rampage getting ripped here.
All the +1 mid blocks. I just realized I didn't have the health totals transition.
Managing the health totals in OBS is a struggle. I don't blame you. So this, we don't have Wolfwood committed, so this should get to exactly 10. And that means Jacob is going to have to commit this last card to a half block, which is not the end of the world. Because it is just a foundation.
And it's something he has to do, or else it's the end of the game.
Yeah.
And Tri-Gravity Beam really fell off for like the latter part of the year. And it kind of blew my mind. It's so obvious, right? The power in it. You get hand knowledge to know if you should continue the string. Get to rip the hand out. Oh, we're flipping. I guess you can only use one anyways. And we would have had to commit completely out. But we have no cards in hand, so it's not like we're going to be able to block again.
That is a little bit of an odd choice here, but it's fine. Jacob checked one of the only 3s in his deck on that block.
Yeah, and again, it's not like the league interviews are going to be stackable, right? It's a first form, you can only activate one at a time. So it's not like the worst move, but I just feel like if we can pass out with committing out, we do theoretically save some resources here. Looks like it's 21-5 in favor of Wolfwood, but Godzilla's turn to try and put 21 damage on the board. How do you feel about Jacob's chances here? No bias.
Godzilla with 2 momentum and a league interview means 21 damage is the most trivial thing in the world as long as we drew 4 attacks. If we drew 4 attacks, it's over. If we drew 3 attacks, we got to force a couple of them through.
Yeah,
if
that's
we
true.
If we drew 1 or 2, then we might be in danger.
That's true. When it comes down to Godzilla's damage...
we're first forming. We did not draw moves, and
oh no,
we're just restarting the game.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Hold the one block.
Oh yeah, we don't want to get hit with a 4 diff and then die.
Correct. That is, yeah. If our opponent had like a tray size, they win. We draw a tray size and we check a 4 on the first one. You know, they swing. They both the first. Well, as long as Wolfwood's ready, they swing for lethal.
And there's a lot of printed 5 damage moves, right? Lizard Tail Splitter's printed 5.
Is it? I thought that one was a 3 mid 4.
Is it? I thought it was a 3 mid 5. Maybe I'm tripping.
Speaking of tray size. This is...
so we've reset the board, and now we've immediately presented a lethal move.
Yeah, I feel like as Jacob here, you've got to have the low block and hope that the rival checks poorly both. Unless your low block is instant Shining Flash, which it is not, we are going to be moving on to a game 2. So... Wolfwood taking it.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, Wolfwood takes it down for game 1.
Yeah, it was a really aggressive turn 2 for Wolfwood and put Godzilla on the back foot and could never recover. It was a really impressive, aggressive string there.
Yeah, I mean, that's picture perfect. What you wanted to see from Wolfwood at basically every turn, right? We had 4 attacks, I think it was turn 2. We had at least 3. We had the optional tray size turn. I mean, Tri-Gravity Beam was ever present. And then in the moment where the board reset came in and we said, all right, well, if we have a tray size and we check well, you know, that is basically our highest percentage play at the moment. And that's what we had. We had tray size and we checked well with the momentum. So everything firing on all cylinders for Wolfwood in that game 1.
And this has kind of been Wolfwood's shtick for its entire lifespan, right? The whole last year is the character that puts 3 damage on every move. When he finds the moves, you will die. He will kill you.
And
But
now,
sometimes he doesn't find them.
yeah, and now not only is it when he finds the moves, those moves are also deleting the blocks straight out of your hand.
That's true. Try Gravity Beam is such a messed up card.
It's pretty good. It's a real good one. I'll say that.
That one's on my list of like the 20 cards that could go out of this format, and I wouldn't miss it.
Right, and again, that's what I was saying earlier, where it's like amazing to me that it left. You know, it's amazing to me that um that it disappeared essentially from the form like overnight. Oh,
Did it though? Like, is it just? Do you think it disappeared just because the really popular stuff lately has all been the chaos symbol? We've been seeing the dominance of Godzilla and Mimic and things like that, and Rodan, and they're just not playing it because they're not on those symbols.
a little bit. I'll say a little bit. I think a big part of it was just those symbols were kind of married to the self mill plan, and when those decks got hit as well, you know, Tri-Gravity was just kind of in this weird place. I guess maybe it didn't disappear, but it sure felt like it was bonkers good in Irwin, and then all of a sudden after that event, you know, they cooked Risky, and then that symbol kind of got readjusted for power, but it's still Death is still the second most represented in this tournament. I do have a character breakdown for probably after round two is probably when I'll get everything like sorted out. But um, you know, it the death decks are just able to do so many things, and the other two symbols on Tri Gravity Beam aren't looking so hot. Kind of how I would put it.
Yeah, the evil symbol has gotten sadly no support in ages. As a big evil supporter,
Yeah,
makes me sad.
yeah. It's I mean, it's a consequence of not being in the set at all, for one. Um, but if you remember in MHA set one, I think evil was easily the saddest symbol. And it took a while for it to be any kind of good. And it's still, even when it's, you know, at its own peak, not a very popular symbol, very specific, very character specific symbol.
Yeah, evil didn't really peak until we got Vile Seizing, and then it bumped up even further with Undaunted Raid, and then it obviously peaked during the. I think it peaked during the Ghidorah meta, um,
Yes.
and then fell off extremely hard after that because no AOT support.
Yeah, that's and Ghidorah is almost certainly like when we talk about character specific. I think at first it was Shigaraki 3, and then you could probably play Evil Hawks. Evil Overhaul was really close to being meta relevant, I would say. But I don't know if I saw anyone. It definitely did top tournaments like Evil Overhaul, but while it was topping tournaments, Shigaraki wasn't. And then Ghidorah was by and large the best evil character of last. You know, I think that goes without saying almost. So we do have really quick. We do have turn two, an Armored Titan Rush. Is that correct? Is that what this card is called?
That is Armored Titan Rush, and this is my favorite card from Attack on Titan 2. I
I
don't
think
think
it's
it's
mine
many in
too.
Discord. Say what?
I think it might be mine too. I don't know if I've made the video like card I like best from AOT 2 yet. I've been really slacking at the end of the year on content, at least as far as YouTube goes. But yeah, I think I love this design overall. I do think the can't be reduced below printed is getting a little, it might be a little bit of a weird theme, but this time it's only damage, so I think it's totally appropriate.
See, there's just so much text on this card, and then it flips into invincible body that isn't even first
Right?
advance.
Then it flips into a really good invincible body. Exactly.
It, it's so crazy.
This is
Why did we
probably
make this?
yeah. This and maybe Colossus Titan attacks, the 10 diff, are probably the biggest excuses for why maybe shift attacks might need to deal damage, because even though we completely blocked this attack, we committed out to we ramped a bit on Wolfwood's side. We did the always cool to get some ramp going, which is very interesting and very courageous. And yet, even though we completely blocked, our rival still gets to turn that attack into not only a foundation, but one with a very relevant ability. So it's gonna be difficult, I think, to punch through the reset in one turn. But one of the best ways to do that is to disrupt the opponent's hand. And Lizard Tail Splitter and Tri Gravity Beam are gonna look to do a another good job of that, repeating the success from game one.
Yeah, Lizard Tail Splitter got a big glow up once Mop Strike got banned. Um, this is, people hated Mop Strike. This is just Mop Strike, but it's not random, right? So it's totally fair, quote unquote.
It's Mob Strike with a different upside, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Um, there's a world where if you showed me these two cards like preview season wise and asked me which one's better between Mob Strike and Lizard Tail, there's worlds where I would say Lizard Tail Splitter. I would have been wrong when Dark Tournament released, but there are times where I would value that card pool stuffing over an additional card draw.
I think it's really context dependent and what the format looks like, right? The Deadlock Echo on this card doesn't matter in the current format. We're not playing the game that long.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
one day that might be relevant.
Yeah, Deadlock, I get to basically you have the Mob Strike upside, but stuff two cards in your pool is definitely a difference maker. I would agree. The biggest thing I think that with the Lizard Tail Splitter is it's still a mid attack, and unlike Lizard Tail Splitter, this Battle Aura release is a high attack, and because of that always cool ramp that we did last turn, and we've got a Botan's coaching, we have the opportunity to present this as an 11 damage move already.
It's so awesome. I love seeing the giant ones.
I like it when I spend a bunch of resources, like I'm not so much of like a 4 diff, 4 to 6 for 15 guy. I'm like a 5 diff 30 for 30 guy. I'm on that ESPN grind.
Oh, okay. You want to see like what's that scorpion card that actually just kills everyone that you play it against?
Well, that's every attack in Scorpion because you're not allowed to block.
Oh,
Oh,
we've got a
speaking of
runaway coming.
Speaking of not allowed to block, here's a card that doesn't block, but instead we're gonna burn 4, so a little better than a half block, denying the momentum. But we put the worst card into the card pool, Zach.
Um, it doesn't count toward progressive, but we don't get to play it now.
Oh, okay, hidden bonus. We trade the we trade the progressive stuffing for disabling the use of it. I like that angle. I don't think it's the right one, but I like it.
We don't have a choice, right? It was the top card of the discard pile. We didn't get to choose what card we put in the card pool.
Yeah, true. Very, very true.
No, so what I think is interesting seeing the runaway come in is I'm curious if the city rampages are out for Jacob. But we got another battle aura coming in. This one is definitely going to be for 11. The last one only ended up being for 10 because we opted not to flip the Botons coaching. But this one will be for 11. And we've just refilled our hand completely. We've played 3 moves. One of them filtered. 2 of them just replaced themselves.
I mean, this is what the death symbol looked like at the beginning of last year, and it's basically returning to form after the AOT ban list wave.
Yeah, this is what everybody thought was going to happen after Younger Toguro got eroded. Everyone was just like, "Oh, Wolfwood is just going to do this exact same thing."
Oh,
you didn't do anything.
Speaking of the exact same thing, we did get the was it Reiner's toughness to put this down to 0. However, it looks like combined firepower plus, oh no, that's not a damage pump. That is a single loss of consciousness. But we're still going to get a little bit of damage back on here. So maybe some momentum to bank for later to empower that Wolfwood gain 2 draw 2 and extend this game beyond a place where Godzilla might feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious if we have any more fire powers in the discard pile, because if we don't, I think Jacob's going to pop this Takoyaki here.
That would be smart. I've become a big fan of reviewing on my, or like drawing cards on my rival's turn when I'm gonna review. I talk about slacking on the YouTube content. I've also got a technique video in the drafts that is basically when to draw one card on the opponent's turn and when to save it for your own turn, right? Because that, I think the conventional wisdom is you want to be drawing cards when you're in control. And this could be an excellent opportunity for Jacob to say, I don't want to block with the card in my hand. I don't want to review the card in my hand. And I do want this damage reduction from Takoyaki. So I might as well use it now because this is going to give me an extra chance to review a card I didn't want to draw or potentially find a block or something else for this turn as well.
Yeah. Drawing on your opponent's turn is always a weird choice. Yeah, it's so situational, you know.
Yeah, I
look forward to your video. I want you to teach me. Teach me the lesson, Sam.
Yeah, it's a weird. Oh, they got their health totals mirrored on blue and red. I almost did the. Yeah, again, it's a very weird situation where I watch new players draw cards basically whenever they can, because that's kind of what you do in other games, you know, especially in Magic the Gathering. You draw on the opponent's end step like whenever you can, and that's the safe time to do so. And for a long time in MHA, especially in the beginning, you know, unless I was playing All Might 3, which I did for like the very first provision stuff, or if I was playing Jiro, you know, outside of those 2 characters, I was never drawing cards on my opponent's turn until I had to, when that's not necessarily always the best way to do it. It's like many of the technique videos, they're all really simple once someone brings it up, right? Like once, I feel like all those videos are really obvious once someone tells you what they're about. But they're things that took me potentially years to figure out on my own if no one told me.
So many of the things in our game are like that. We had a new player come out pretty recently to start playing. Are we wiping the board again?
We're wiping the board again. This is an uncomfortable spot for Jacob and his Godzilla deck. We're going handless. Basically, defense is down. We have no momentum. We have no cards in hand. Wolfwood has no foundations but 2 momentum. Have we seen a powerful attack yet, or is it just Trace Eyes for the momentum use?
Well, it's Wolfwood, right? We could be an 8-hander here and build super wide.
Yeah, it looks like that with the attack review. That's an attack that is very reliant on having at least a foundation, right? To do anything with the enhances. So that makes a lot of sense to me. You're not going to gain the 2, of course, but If my opponent says I'm gonna reset the game and I start as a 2-hander and I get to essentially go second and start as an 8-hander, I feel pretty good about that, especially when I have the health total lead. This is not looking good for Jacob at all.
Yeah, I really don't like his position in this game. I didn't get a glimpse of what he discarded, but oh oh we're gonna try to push in 12 damage here.
We reviewed the attack, drew the 2 extra cards, and still went for the 4-diff echo. I can respect it.
I mean, why not? We have a momentum, right? So we can either push 6 or 12 damage here. If we want to push 12, we can spend our momentum. If we just want to push 6, we can bank a second momentum. This is a little iffy because we're not going to have a momentum at the end of this.
True. We are going momentumless. Really quickly, Noko, thank you for the 5 months with the Prime. I do appreciate that very much. Let's go UVS community indeed. Yeah, I mean, threatening roughly half of now even more than half of Jacob's remaining health. I mean, it's looking like
we've got fire powers. This is scary.
This is looking like a pretty good plan to me. Again, we have no cards in hand, so all of this damage is guaranteed.
Because Jacob was at 22 and took 6 off the last one, so he's at 16. These fire powers could get this to lethal.
True, and especially with all the extra hits that we've seen throughout the deck. I mean, this looks like that full Yahtzee. Oh my goodness.
+4 here. He only needs to find 4 more damage.
Which, I mean, we have how many combines to go through? Although it looks like we might cycle soon. We might not get to play more than this one. He manages to check. Oh, that's not good because all of those are at the bottom. He's not going to get to respond with them because he has to finish milling. However, that is +3 damage. He has to just hit 1 damage on the 4th card, and he's going to win round 1, Zach.
This is the craziest cycle top deck I think I've seen in a long time.
This is one of the craziest like post Godzilla board explosion turns I've ever seen.
It's conventional wisdom, right? Everyone makes this joke. Every time Godzilla board wipes, he dies.
That's been the complete opposite of my experience in tournaments. Every time it's been people saying, "Wow, Godzilla would have won if he board wiped." That's so crazy. Here it is, the one last card. We're going to get to cycle off the top, or I should say mill after the cycle.
Are we going to get the Tim Keefe, like, hand rub slow roll, or what do you think Rudy's going to do here? Oh my God, he got it!
Got it! That is insane. Insane play. That is... What a heartbreak. That is absolutely... I would be out of here, too. I'd be... GG's, my friend, and saying something else after the call is over. My goodness. That was insane.
Oh.
Was that 4 hits in a row? Or was it 2 hits in one?
It was 4 hits in a row, but 3 of them were the avoided the conflicts that were always going to be there because we played them.
That's true, yeah. He knew that 3 of the 4 were going to hit. That's absolutely amazing. All right, guys. That was a way to start the tournament. We're going to take a really small break because A, I've got a cat meowing outside my door. I don't know if you guys can hear that. B, I got to figure out this